The sound of that tractor means it's time for us to get to work. Welcome to the Give Us a Dirt podcast. My name is Brandon Lindsay. This is Bam Bam, and we are your host. We are extremely pumped to have today's guest in the studio with us. This is someone that I consider a dear friend and colleague, admire tremendously. Having worked on high-impact projects around the Charlotte area, including South Park Mall, Bojangles Coliseum, and even the Charlotte Airport, our guest today is no stranger to the construction industry. He is a third-generation commercial roofing company owner, and roofing just runs in his blood. When he can find the time to take a break from leading his team, he enjoys traveling or being on the lake with his wife and 2 children and rooting for the Detroit Lions and Michigan State Spartans.
All right.
Welcome, Dan Davis, president of Davco Roofing.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's quite the intro there.
Did we get it right?
You nailed it. And no pre-interview either.
We've got a strong research team.
Wow.
Yeah.
They do a good job. Well, Dan, thank you for being in the studio with us today. I've been excited about having you in here. I feel like I know a lot of your story, but I'm excited to find out the pieces that I haven't heard.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, we go way back, Brandon. So I've been excited to be on the show.
So how long tell us about Davco and how long you've been over at Davco.
Okay, so 15 years actually. So what a milestone year, if you will. Been at Davco since 2008. We were purchased the company, small company, and myself and a few guys from Michigan relocated, and focused on commercial only, no residential. So if you ask me to fix your roof at home, I'm going to unfortunately have to pass on that. But we were industrial, commercial, educational, institutional, basically the whole time, and just started doing public work until we got our feet wet and took off from there.
So you're born in Michigan.
Yes.
You're third generation. Was it on your birth certificate, roofer?
So that's funny. Up in Michigan, they do a lot of hot asphalt work, and the joke is I was born in a mop bucket because I was on the roof at a young age, and my uncle was a roofer. My father, obviously, my grandpa. All the holidays, we talked about roofing. Through high school, I worked on the roof. My friends worked on the roof. It was and through college, I felt like I was a veteran by the time I graduated college. So,
was there any doubt you were going to be in the roofing business?
Well,
as you were growing up,
I actually tried to run from it. Initially, I graduated college and had an opportunity to move to Florida to work. My degree is construction management, so I moved to Florida and worked for a general contractor building schools, and wanted to be on my own. And then a few years after that, my father said, gonna hang it up pretty soon. We had planned, so I just got engaged, and so he asked me to came back to Michigan, and then just felt like I wanted to branch out. And so fully supportive. So we ended up purchasing Davco,
which was a company here in Charlotte.
That's right. And this is 2008.
So why Charlotte?
Well, if you remember 2008, the economy as a whole was dead. Well, Charlotte had a bit of a pulse, and it was just a good fit. Location was ideal. The company size that we're looking for was ideal, and timing just felt right. And so we just made the move. And actually the Davco was Davco Contracting originally. The previous owner's name was Russell Davis, same last name. So we purchased the company and just changed the last word from contracting to roofing, which made us a new company, and went from there.
Dan, we're going to get into, I know you're an incredible leader because I know you well, and you've got incredible vision, but I want to back up to your dad there because you said a couple things. I mean, here's a guy he's already looking out into the future, saying we've got to have a plan in place.
Right.
And he's saying, all right, I gotta pull Dan back into this thing. We got to start working towards this. And then in the middle of a recession, he's saying we're going to go buy this business out in Charlotte. I mean, that's some serious vision.
Yeah, good point, Brandon. And they wanted the expansion had always been on his mind, and whether it was Florida or here, moving south was part of the plan, but it never was to that extent, right? I was gonna be in Michigan, and when I got back, I felt like I was put in a position that I was responsible or in charge of, I guess, for lack of a better word, of people that I looked up to my whole life that knew more about roofing, that forgot about more about roofing than I known at that time. So I felt really uncomfortable with the spot I was in. That was a big part of it. So, I tried to fake it till I made it, and I just couldn't shake it. So finally just said, it's not going to work out. So, my dad, his credit, said, go, it set me free.
Wow. So you take off to the East Coast. You've got to build this. So you come into an organization. And how was Davco at the time? Were they in good shape? Was it a mess?
Very family oriented, small company. I think 12 employees probably. Owned and operated by one person who his sister was the office manager, and they just had a way of doing things, and I didn't know any better, and we just tried to figure it out as we went. And I was talking about this yesterday in a leadership session I was in, and actually I said up until the last couple of years, I've learned by getting up and dusting my knees off and saying, okay, don't do that again, right? And so I really took that to heart, as I grew into my leadership role, that thinking how important it is to be a mentor for other people and to give them someone to lean on if they're unsure about something. So I learned a lot of things the hard way, and obviously my dad was inspirational in what he taught me growing up, and they were there as a resource in Michigan. But when you're in Michigan and when we're here, there's a lot you just got to figure out.
So you've evolved into that over the last 15 years, and I love the fact that you admit, hey, I've learned by my failures. I get up, I dust myself off. But you didn't have that 15 years ago. I mean, here you are, you're walking into a family-owned business. You're the new guy. You're the new owner.
Yep.
What does that first day sound like? And when you get everybody in the room and you say, okay, things are changing, what is the message that you hope they walk out of there with?
Excitement, because I didn't have anything else. I had no experience. I had no industry knowledge. I just wanted to show them that I was all in, and there is no plan B. I moved there, had just gotten married, baby on the way, basically, after a few months of being here. And it was sink or swim. And that was really like, it just was that we wore that like a badge of honor. Like this is we're going to do this thing. And with the recession going on, it was tough because there wasn't a lot of excitement anywhere. It was the opposite of that. So, we didn't do well the first couple of years either. We did not profit by any means, but we learned a lot. And, you see really what people are capable of when you put them to the test, and when you don't succeed and you still come back the next day and they're ready for more. So
I love that answer, Dan. I'm so glad you said that. And that is so you. Like, I got nothing to offer y'all except excitement right now. Yep. And it's amazing that one thing can get people rallying behind you. Like, people can, if they say, look, I don't know this guy. I don't know what he's going to do for us. I don't know if he's going to help us or hurt us.
Yeah.
But he sure seems excited about it.
Yeah.
So I'm get on board.
He didn't have a lot going on. Baby on the way, just got married, getting into a new company. You had a lot coming in on you.
Right.
But I love that. Yeah, walk in there and I can offer you excitement.
You can get behind somebody with energy.
Yeah.
Somebody that looks excited, whether they know what they're doing or not. You're like, okay.
Yeah. And, I wasn't from around there, and that was an adjustment too. And so respecting the way that they do things was a tight balance as well, and I didn't know what I didn't know. And so, I'm sure I offended some people by trying to implement things that we the way I learned it up north versus how they do things here. And so, but that never even occurred to me, right? I just kept going. And looking back, when I reflect, I think about that. Yeah, I probably should have approached that differently, or had a little bit more, humility in those situations. But I just wanted to meet as many people as I possibly could. Mm-hmm. And then I just knew that a strength of mine is meeting people. And so I said, I'm going to meet as many people as I can. And then just, if I know everybody, then I'll know about their roof. I'll know something. I'll know what they have going on. And then that ended up being something that I was proud to have that thought, that goal, right? You set different goals, and me having the goal of meeting as many people as I possibly could, that was
the whole agenda.
Yeah.
That was the whole plan.
Yep.
I'm going to tell myself a little bit here, Bam Bam. So when Brian, it reminds me of my story of joining Hoopah. I'd spent 20 years at Martin Marietta. Brian and I talked, and he said, won't you come join the team? And I said, Brian, I don't know anything about grading. And he said, that's okay. I need you to help me with people. And I got over here and I started working, and I did a lot of what you did. I didn't have anything to talk to them about grading. I didn't know. I couldn't help them do their job any better. So I just spent time going from office to office. And I never will forget, people kept saying, what does he do? They still say, what doesn't he do?
Is that still up in the air?
They're still asking. I don't know what he does, but we're happier.
Right.
We're having fun. He seems excited about whatever he's doing. And I think just that quality in itself is very powerful.
Right.
The positive nature that you go about leading, it goes to what we're going to talk about today, which is the power of influence.
Right.
And you've got that gift, and
so do you, Brandon. That's
wow.
I'm sorry to hijack your thought here, but I want to say that I met you because of your power to influence, and that's what Brian saw in you, obviously, and that's what makes him a good leader. He recognized your strength and capitalized on it, and that's, I'll never forget the day I met you, right? It was just, you were just passionate about something, and you told your story, and it was clear, and it was from the heart, and it was just, there's a lot of power in that. So,
well, thank you for sharing that. It's, that I think we all have the power of influence. It's how we use it. Right? You're going to influence somebody to do something. It's either you're going to influence them to do good, or you're going to influence them to do wrong or bad. How have you seen, this whole series is about talking to incredible leaders, people that have been successful in leadership roles, but talking about how the failures, or when they saw leadership done the wrong way, has helped them become who they are today. Where have you seen someone screw this up and maybe use their influence in a way that wasn't productive, or it hurt the company or the team members?
That's a good question. And I'm guilty of it, right? I learned what not to do by doing what I wasn't supposed to do, and I already mentioned that. But what I found out to be one thing that was impactful to me was understanding that asking questions before giving direction or giving if you giving a goal out to the team, asking people's input in what makes them tick and why this goal would be important to them is so critical in actually going to achieve that goal. Because my perspective of this goal and how it should be achieved could be way different than yours. And that doesn't mean we both don't want that goal to be achieved, but you may want to go about it differently than I want to go about it, and that's okay. But empowering people to voice their opinion and to give their input, it shows that you trust them. It shows that you believe in them. It shows that you respect their opinion and that you need them to achieve the goal. And so I don't think I did enough of that.
Do you think that also makes them feel like they belong on the team whenever you include them?
Bam, 100%. Yes.
But you know what else it takes too is it takes humility from you to be able to say, I need the input. You know, one of the issues, and I don't know if you struggle with this, but when you're able to influence people, a lot of times I can come up with an idea, and in my mind, it's the exact thing that we need to do. And I can talk you into doing it, right? If you give me enough time, I can get you excited about my idea.
Yep.
I can get you to buy into my idea.
Yep.
But what I haven't done is open up the forum and say, y'all feed into this.
Yeah.
Be a part of this. And so I think the humility, knowing that you've got that power of influence, but being humble enough to say, make it better.
Right.
Help me make this better.
Yeah. And as a leader, you can feel like a little bit of pressure, like, okay, I got to be the smartest guy in the room. I have to have all the answers, and I have to be able to show the team that I'm the right guy for the job. And that to me is not the right way to approach it. If you walk in and just, I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but I have an idea. Or I know one thing, if we hit this goal, it's going to move the needle, but I'm not sure how to get there. That, I think it just takes it just opens up the room instantly to people feeling like I'm inviting their input, and I don't have to be the smartest guy. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm working with people that, know more about something that we're talking about than I'll ever know. And if I'm not encouraging them to give me their input, then I'm doing everybody a disservice. So
that's good. I know it make me feel good if my boss came to me and said, "Hey, how do we do this? Here's where we're trying to get to. Let's build it together.
Here's the address. Show me how we're gonna get there."
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Dan, asking for input from the team is one of the ways that you influence, that you rally a team behind a common goal. What other ways do you do this?
Not making it. So this is almost piggybacking off of that, but it's not making it about me. And recognizing that everybody's at a different spot in their growth, or their progression, or in their career. And that's okay too. We need the veteran, we need the rookie, we need the guy that's knows enough to be dangerous, but they're all there because we need them. And I don't know about you, but if I'm on a team and I don't think I'm needed, then I'm gonna be, my mind, I may be there physically, but my mind's gonna be somewhere else.
Yeah, you're not gonna hang out long.
No.
Do you think that has a lot to do with employee retention as well?
Yes. Yes, I do. Very much so. There's in your industry is, I'm sure, same as ours, construction in general. Hiring, retaining good people is the challenge, right? And I do believe now that people have options, the importance of training, empowering, team building, social activities within the team, culture is more important now than it has ever been because of the pool and the options that people have.
Right.
It's not just about making $1 more somewhere. Feeling like you can have purpose in your job, that where you go, the people that are mentoring you, that you're learning from, that you're working with, they value you for not just the work you're doing, but how you're doing it. And to know that what work you're doing, it's important, right? If you're just punching the clock and then, you're going to not feel good and then you're going to complain to your coworkers. And if it's someone that you're in a ditch with all day, that's going to affect you, right? Just like the positive stuff does it. And it'll bring you down. So
that purpose piece of it is powerful. That's exponential effort. Once someone figures out their purpose in this plan, like, you've got them. How do you help? That's a tough thing. How do you help a team member find purpose? I mean, you can help them find their role. You can help them find their lane. You can help them find their gifts. But how do you help somebody find purpose? Or is that something they got to come to on their own?
That's a good question. I think giving them opportunities to give them opportunities to do different things that speaks to their strengths, right? You can put someone in a role that, even if it's a role they apply for, they don't really know if they're new to the industry and they're say, I'm just looking for a job. Or what do you like to do? Well, I'm a hard worker, and the things that are important to your character for working in this industry, but not necessarily specific to the trade, right? It's like you have good work ethic, you're responsible, you're trustworthy, perfect. Now, what excites you about this? Maybe it's like, well, I'm kind of afraid of heights. Why are you climbing a ladder every day? Yeah. Right?
Right.
Well, I needed a job. That's okay. You can be a forklift. You can be an operator for us. You can run equipment. You can deliver material. We need different things. But just asking that question, is it could be change their entire path.
Right.
And it also shows that I care. I'm not just, well,
you can't do it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yep.
Hey, that's so cool, Dan, because you're right. You can't give someone their purpose. They've got to come to that. But what you do is you ask. Yep. You engage. You created a relationship, and you get them talking about that and find out what's important to you. What makes you get up in the morning?
Yep.
What keeps you up at night? What stresses you out? And having those conversations, you can help someone find it.
Yeah. And it sounds so simple, but it does not happen enough. It doesn't.
It doesn't happen. Yeah, it becomes about the job.
Yeah, it does. And I feel like so often that people come on to work crews, and it's just like, hey, here's Brandon. All right, Brandon, come go with me. I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing today. Not, we don't have that conversation enough. I don't feel like we don't.
Why is that? Why do we not do it?
I think it's time. I think
taking time.
I think it's just taking time and a little bit of arrogance.
Good point. Yeah.
Time and ego.
Time and ego. Yeah, absolutely. I think that, hey, Brandon, appreciate you being here today. Thank you for showing up on time. What do you like to do? What is your strong suits? And what you said, I think, basically speaks volumes. That's the whole base work to building that better, stronger relationship and possibly retaining somebody.
Yes.
Just getting their input. Hey, I'd rather do this. Okay, well, let's give it a shot. It's, no, we're going to do this, and here you go. And I feel like that's probably one of the bad qualities. Easy to do, though.
All right.
That's hard to do whenever you got deadlines looming, you got, money's being spent, and you hammer down. But if you take that second, like you're talking about, and you just involve that person, that employee,
right,
that family member, that work family member now, then you've laid the groundwork.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Dan, so your story is, it's intriguing, all of it, but there are times during your story where you're having to do this at pretty challenging times in construction, right? You come in 2008 in the middle of a recession. You just led a team through COVID with all the challenges that I'm sure you experienced through that.
Oh, yeah.
What's the difference in how you influence your team and how you rally them behind a goal during challenging times versus good times?
Good question. And, that's when it's most important, right? When the pressure's on, the heat just got turned up a little bit, and everyone's, they're on social media seeing people maybe losing their jobs in same industry, different companies, same environment. So that reinforcement that's when it's most important, is that we're okay. But, you may need to work maybe just a little bit longer on a couple days this week, or maybe you need to come on a Saturday. But if you do, you'll know why, and you'll know that I'm only asking you to do this because I think it's valuable for the company right now, and it's what we have to do to separate ourselves. But just that prep work, that little bit of communication that you give them, instead of just, hey, come in Saturday. I need you to come in Saturday. I mean, who wants to hear that, right? I mean,
Right.
Well, it's overtime, so I can. And the thought is, and that happens because the thought of the person giving that directive is, well, he's going to get paid overtime, so I'll just tell him to come in Saturday, and that's what he'll do because he gets time and a half. And meanwhile, that person has not seen his 2 children, his wife, all week. Saturday's his only time to coach his or her child's soccer game. And I completely disregarded that being on the table at all. And actually, I'll say this is too. One thing that made me I thought of while I was talking is that my dad used to say when he was running a crew on the roof, he's like, no matter what, when I got on the roof first, and I would say good morning to every person that climbed the ladder, because I'm getting ready to get in their business all day. They're people. I owe them. I'm making sure that I'm going to greet them the right way as a person, and look them in the eye and say good morning. Let's have a good day. That was very important to him.
It's right there. You set the tone.
Yeah.
For everybody's attitude for that.
Yep.
Dan, those challenging times, I think about what you said there. One of the takeaways I got from that is you're transparent. Like, it's a tough time. We're going to have to put in a little bit more effort than maybe we had to in the past to get through this. But you do it with positivity, and you did it with confidence. And I think that's how you influence people during those challenging times. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be upbeat. I'm going to be confident that we're going to get through this thing, because I want you to feel the same.
Great point.
But here's the flip side of that. Here's the burden of leadership is you may not always be feeling that all the time.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen you to where you're thinking about, hey, this guy's having to miss his kid's game. You got kids.
Yeah.
You're having to miss games.
Yep.
You're trying to make sure that this guy's not feeling the pressure and the weight of the times that we're working in. I've seen you when you were going to blow a gasket, and just bottling it up because you carry that for so many people. Not everybody sees that.
Right.
But that's our role as leaders.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yep.
That's a good point you made. Some people say, "Oh, don't let them show your weakness, or don't let them see your scars." But because it's a delicate balance. Because you need to be humble. You need to show vulnerability, exactly. And it's empowering for and they need to see that, to know that everyone's the same, and there's a lot of power in being vulnerable. And so showing them that there's a difference between being vulnerable and then coming out like giving off the the vibe or the energy that, okay, we're in trouble, guys. Like, you don't want to. That's not the message. So there's a balance there, right?
Sweet spot.
Yeah, there's a balance for sure.
That's good stuff. Dan, where have you had experience in coming up with your dad and your grandfather? You can't talk about bad leadership examples with them, right? So have you seen someone where someone didn't use their influence in a way, or maybe they used their influence in a way that was demoralizing to the team, or it didn't rally them behind the goal? Have you seen that going bad?
Yes, I have.
What does that look like?
It looks like somebody who was put into a position that didn't support their strengths. So they try to overcome that by influence and by masking that, inability. So if you're ever not genuine about who you are and what you know and what you're trying to accomplish, there's no way to mask that forever. Like it's going to come out and it's going to show. And so you're not being honest with yourself and you're not being honest with your team. So I've seen it to where it's been, it's felt like a dictatorship because it was, this is the agenda, this is the goal, here's the itinerary for the meeting, here's what we're going to talk about, and we stick to the script and we go through and we're going to get to the goal and we're going to achieve it because this is how you do it. And then sets the tone.
They use their position as the influence.
Yes.
Right.
So
I think that's where
I'm the
you
boss.
get, yeah, I think that's where you get, a lot of people respect the position, but they don't respect the person that's in that position.
Right.
Right.
If somebody gets, up here, it's easy to respect that chair, but what about the person that's sitting in it? How do you build that? How do you build that trust? And I feel like, all those have been covered today on that, just involve them, talk to them.
Well, and but here's the thing, that's influential too. Use your position. You're going to influence them to do something, but you're going to influence them to give you the bare minimum.
Right.
Yep.
You're going to influence them to have a bad attitude.
Exactly.
That's right.
And the dictatorship. I've seen that, and I've seen it work, and I've seen it tear teams, departments apart, and just pit terrible competition between, teams that are in one area, and it just does not work.
Right.
So it just doesn't work. The dictatorship part, you cannot rule by intimidation.
No.
Because they're going to do what you say. But
Yeah.
what kind of impact are you leaving, and are you leaving them better for the next person that's coming in?
That's right. That's a great point, Bam Bam. And it's also crippling to the team because if that's the relationship that you have with somebody as I'm the dictator and this is how it's going to be, then you're not empowering them to think for themselves because they know that chances are you're going to be micromanaging them if that's how you operate as a dictator, right? You want to be involved in the decisions. You want to influence the decisions. And so people are going to then default to you for decisions and they won't think for themselves. They won't have to because you've built the culture that you've enabled them to now lean on you because that's what you want. And, you want to give them enough autonomy to make decisions for the company because it allows it just having that effect on you. Your mind is clogged now. You can't think freely. You can't think confidently. But it's okay because he wants to make the decision anyway, or the boss does.
Right.
So, and that's not sustainable. It's not for the dictator, the leader, and it's not for the team member because they have a ceiling over their head, and nobody wants that.
And there's poison.
Yes, it is.
So Dan, this is great stuff. I'm a guy at Davco Roofing, and you're getting ready to promote me into a leadership role, and you're getting ready to tell me the things to avoid, and tell me don't do these things. If you want to have any chance at Davco Roofing, avoid these things at all costs. Like you're telling me, if I want to be a bad leader, don't ask for their input.
Yep.
Just go ahead and do it. Don't ask for any input. Just consider your ideas only. If I want to screw it up, make it about me. Yes. Go out there and deal with those people, but just make all your decisions on how it impacts you. Don't consider them in those decisions.
Yes.
Don't talk to them. Don't ask them what they like, what makes them happy. Don't ask them their opinions. Don't help them find purpose. Just tell them to do their job.
Yes.
don't be vulnerable.
Be strong out there.
Yeah, be strong. Don't show weakness. Yeah.
Say that.
And whatever you do, let them know that you're the boss.
Right.
That's
go. If I'd say go rule the roost. That's what not to do.
That is the secret to really becoming a loser in the game of leadership.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, when I hear that, I'm reminded of an old tale that I used to hear a pretty good bit. And it's back, I live out in the country out in South Carolina.
No, shock.
I know,
Come on.
I know it comes out. I'm not New York. And we used to have this guy that used to tell us it was the box turtle thing. So people that would cut grass on the side of the road with a bush hog, they see a turtle, they'd set him up on top of fence posts. But he didn't climb up there. Somebody set him up there. Somebody had to support him and put him up there on top of that fence post. He said, you're not going to get anywhere up here by yourself.
That's right.
Somebody helped you get
You
there.
got to have people help you get up there.
That's a great analogy. Absolutely.
Box turtle theory is
I'm definitely in turtle.
that's it.
I didn't
Me
get
too. Yeah,
Right.
me too, buddy.
All right, we're going to have some
Same.
fun right now.
Okay.
You up for playing with us a
I
little bit?
love a good time, Brandon.
Why am I not holding the cards?
Because you are actually participating in this.
Wait a minute. Is this something you got? You usually hold the cards? Is that what's going
He's
on?
actually our game correspondent here, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. So I'm going to read you a question. Here's the rules of the game. We are repurposing. I'm not going to say stealing. We're repurposing a lot of Jimmy Fallon stuff. So you watch Jimmy Fallon, right?
Yeah.
So this game is called Think Fast.
Okay.
You're going to take turns. I'm going to ask questions, totally random questions. But the secret that you got to answer as fast as you can with the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh man, that's how I get in trouble.
Okay, there's no thinking here. Okay,
Can I hit the...
we do have an edit button. We do have an edit button
Good.
if you need to.
Okay.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors. Y'all do it. Okay.
Oh wait, it's not 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Bam, 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 bam.
Wait a minute. Well, time out. Isn't it 1, 2, 3, shoot?
Yeah. What is it? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
shoot.
1,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Ready? Got him.
All right. All right. You're up first, bam, bam. You ready?
Oh.
All right. First question. First thing comes to your mind as fast as you can. What's in your pocket?
Keys.
Back. All right. Dan,
Oh, this is easy.
what's the first thing you say after drinking a beer?
Where's the fridge?
Nice.
Give me another. All right. Rusty, last thing you bought on Amazon?
Clothes for my daughter.
Nice.
Dan, why should I believe you?
Because I'm not lying.
Okay. All right. Rusty, what's the worst pizza topping?
Pineapple.
Rusty. We have to talk about that later.
Dan, if you were a rapper, what would your name be?
Oh, DJ Skittles.
Wait a minute. I feel like you had that answer already.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was too quick.
That was for my son. It was either DJ Mongoose or DJ Skittles. He's both.
Skittles.
I like it.
He's a whole new. He's awesome.
All right. Rusty, what is your secret talent?
I figure what?
Talent.
He's stalling.
Come on.
Running.
All right.
That is a well-kept
Yeah.
secret.
I'm Rusty. I'm from New York and I run.
Yeah. A lot.
You are doing a great job keeping that secret.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry we just let it out. Dan, sing your favorite salad topping.
But honey and mustard?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right.
Sorry, you're going to edit that out.
Rusty, why were you late for work?
I'm not late for work.
Dan, what can I buy for $1?
Oh, blow pop.
Y'all did good.
Oh my God.
That's the first time we've done this. Y'all did good. DJ Skittles is definitely gonna.
You know you got a new nickname.
Yeah.
Right.
DJ Skittles. That's incredible. Well, Dan, and so I want to kind of wrap this thing up with talking about you and what's next. You know, you walked us through your journey with Davco. You've led a very successful organization. You've got a great team. You've got some leaders coming up through the company right now. What's next? What have you got? And did I hear you say that you were at some leadership? Or you were?
Yeah. So
What was that?
Okay, this is exciting. I'll be short about it. But I'm working with a executive leadership coach right now, and it's been incredible for me so far. It's been a short journey, but we're just getting started, and he's working with me, trying to strengthen, sharpen my sword and figure out where I need to grow as a leader and how to capitalize on my strengths. And he's doing things like he interviewed 10 people in my life, personal and professional, and then created a feedback report. It was all anonymous, some areas of growth and strengths. And I just got that back this week, and that was enlightening and also humbling, right? Yeah.
I didn't mean it. When I put that part about you.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who said what. Yeah, that was tough. That was he sent it to me at night, and he said, I'm not giving you enough time to go in the weeds on this. And I made the mistake of opening it at night. And so I definitely went in the weeds on it. But incredibly just eye-opening. It's just you're living it every day, and you think one thing I learned quickly was that perspective is so important too. It's like, because he interviewed people that I've only known for a year, and then people I've known my entire life, and perspective of I could look at that as how I've changed in the last year, even, or who I was a year ago to today. We've had a very we were acquired a little over a year ago. Now I'm part of a 9 business unit operation, with partners across the country, and that's happened in the last year, and that's been a very pivotal move in my career. And so I'm trying to make sure I maintain the small team atmosphere and the culture that I work so hard to build. And so we've grown so much too over the last 3 years. We have I think 60% of our staff has been here less than 3 years, which is crazy. That's how much growth we've had. And so managing that. So what's next, I guess, to answer your question, Brandon, is working with Pat, my coach, to continue to find where I need to grow, and helping to make sure that everyone on the team has a path and a purpose, and that they find their purpose, and that they feel like they're in the right place. And if they're not, we find that too. But right now we feel like we have an incredible team in place, the right people on the bus, and we just got to get everybody in the right direction. So that's where we're at.
Man, that's awesome. I'm sitting here thinking, if I'm an employee at Davco and I just heard my leader say that I'm committed to helping every member of this team find their path and purpose. I mean, that's who says that?
Oh, yeah.
You don't hear that anymore.
And I also like your coach, his approach, interviewing 10 people.
Yeah.
I think that's, how do you fix you?
Well, and yeah, but the other thing is you've got this perception of what you are and what you think people see.
Oh, yeah.
And then find out, hey, that's not what they think.
Yeah.
That's a cool approach.
That could be humbling, but you've got to, as a leader, I mean, hats off to you for putting yourself in a position to receive that kind of feedback. And I love what you said too. I don't know if this came from Pat or if this is just what you've gotten to through your career, but realizing that you're not the same leader to everybody.
That's right.
We talk about 5 levels of leadership with our team, and that first level of leadership is positional, right? You're the leader because you're the boss,
right?
But the pinnacle is you want people to follow you because of what you represent.
That's right,
and who you are. And so, but to that person that just started 30 days ago, they don't know Dan Davis. They don't know what you represent. They don't know how you've helped others achieve their goals. They just know you as the boss.
Yeah.
And so your goal was to get out of that position as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Get up to the next one.
And the new people can only form an opinion on what little they see or know. So We're larger than we were a year ago, larger than we were the year before that. So that instantly changes the perspective people will have on me and our leadership team, or even just as the company. Like, oh, we're at some corporation now, and like they walk in day one and they see that. It's like, that's not that it's a bad thing to be at some corporation, but it's that people form opinions based on just stereotypes and stigmas and things, and you want them to see the real you, the real culture, core values, purpose, family atmosphere. The success will come when those things are aligned and everyone feels like they're at the right place, because we're at work more than we're at home. I mean, it's crazy, right? So let's do this right.
Mm-hmm. Make it about the people.
Yeah. Yes, make it about the people for sure.
What do you think, Bam Bam?
I like it. Let's do this right. I like that. I like that approach.
That's some good stuff.
It is.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming in and sharing. And I consider you the pinnacle of the leadership. I really do. I respect you and all that you represent, and I love your authenticity about your care for the people.
Thank you, Brandon.
And I think that's where it is. And if you don't want to be a good leader, don't care about your people.
Care about your people.
Care about your people.
Just care about the numbers.
Care about
Just
yourself.
Care about the numbers and hitting those targets, and then that's what not to do.
Don't spend time walking from office to office and asking them how they're doing. Don't say good morning to them.
Yes.
First thing before you get to work.
That's right.
Dan, this is great stuff. Thank you for sharing. Anything else you want to that we didn't say that we didn't cover?
No.
How has your first podcast experience been?
It was better than I ever could have imagined.
A lot of people come in here and get intimidated with Bam Bam. It's being in the podcast is intimidating enough, but then sometimes,
I mean, this is a real professional atmosphere. It's like, you got the microphone in your face, you got two seasoned broadcasters.
Oh, seasoned broadcasters.
We're big time. Matter of fact, we found out yesterday that we are now trending in New Zealand.
What?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
So how did that happen?
I don't know, but it's happening. New Zealand is Give Us the Dirt is a big deal in New Zealand right now.
Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah.
I am honored to be a part of it. And to my friends in New Zealand, good job. Keep trending. keep us trending in the right direction.
That's it. Dan, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, guys. That was awesome.